Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on MITV Plus. I am Precious Aboigbe. Here are top stories for tonight. NNPC signs MOU for completion operation of Warri Port Harcourt refineries. Lagos unveils second edition of Eco Schools Arts Crafts competition. On the foreign scene, 3 dead in suspected virus outbreak on Atlantic cruise ship. And in sport, Awuni scores brace as Nottingham Forest defeats Chelsea 3-1. And now the news in detail. The federal government has urged closer cooperation between the media, public institutions, and other stakeholders to confront the rising spread of disinformation and misinformation. It described the challenge as a growing threat to public trust and national cohesion. The call was made on Monday in Abuja by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, during the 2026 World Press Freedom Day event held at Radio House. This was disclosed in a statement by Idris's media aide, Rabiu Ibrahim, on Monday. Idris reaffirmed the government's support for press freedom, stressing that it remains a constitutionally guaranteed right that must be protected while being exercised responsibly. The Federal Ministry of Education has appointed veteran broadcast journalist Yaro Atta as Special Advisor on Media and Communication to the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alaosa. The appointment was announced in a statement signed by the Minister's Special Advisor on Strategy and Implementation, Larry Lamino. The ministry noted that the move is part of efforts to strengthen public engagement, improve transparency, and enhance communication of ongoing reforms in the education sector. In his new role, Atta will oversee the minister's media and communication agenda, including media relations, public information management, digital communication, and social media engagement. He is also expected to coordinate strategic messaging and support crisis communication efforts for the ministry. Moving on, the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, led by Senator Adolphus Obara, has appointed a 13-member interim national working committee for the party. Obara said the move was taken in line with the PDP constitution, insisting that the Supreme Court judgment, which upheld the nullification of the Ibadan Convention, created a leadership vacuum within the party. The 13-man interim national working committee is led by erstwhile national chairman Tanimu Turaki. This decision was taken at the National Executive Committee NEC meeting held by the Tanimu Turaki block of the PDP at the Yaradua Center in Abuja. The All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Osun State, Bola Oyebamiji, has assured residents of the state of a peaceful campaign and electoral process. Oyebamiji gave the assurance in his hometown of Ikire in Irewole local government area during a solidarity prayer organized by the Ikire Muslim community. Osun State correspondent Jamio Moni reports.
Imams, clerics, the Akrian Council, representatives of the Osun State Muslim community, as well as members of the All Progressives Congress converged on the Ikire Central Mosque for a solidarity prayer for the aspiration of the APC governorship candidate, Bola Oyebamiji, who is from the town. Bola Oyebamiji, who doubled as the Asiwaju of Ikire land, was accompanied by his wife, Sekinat Oyebamiji, and his campaign team to the occasion. The chief imam of Ikire land, who led other scholars in the recitation of the Holy Quran, also delivered a sermon centered on patriotism and selfless service to humanity. Community leaders noted that the prayer is an indication of support and victory for Bola Oyebamiji during the August 15th governorship election in Osun State.
So we organize this prayer to support the aspiration of Alhaji Asiwaju Modúrudeen Bola Oyebamiji is our illustrious son, a great philanthropist, and he is a very good man, a very good Muslim.
Any of the 29 local council could have produced the governor. Now they cede it to Ikire. I think it is an obligation that we should do all our best to make sure that Asiwaju Bola Oyebanji becomes the next governor.
In his reaction, the APC candidate lauded the town stakeholders, calling for more support towards the success of the APC at the poll.
They can't organize something like this a few weeks ago, and this is another one that is being organized by Ikire community. Ikire is my town, and I appreciate this. I want to assure our people in Osun that this election of 15th of August, there won't be bloodshed. That election will be peaceful by the special grace of God. The security personnel will take charge and everything will go with ease.
The event also featured free medical outreach where residents were treated on prevailing medical conditions. Jamiu Omaniyi, MITV Plus News, Ikire, Osun State.
The Resident Electoral Commissioner in Ekiti State, Bumi Omosaindemi, has assured residents of a credible and transparent process ahead of the June 20 governorship election. Speaking in Ado-Ekiti, Omosaindemi identified vote trading and financial inducement as major threats to the integrity of the poll. He noted that the state has recorded cases of covert vote buying around polling units through hidden arrangements. The REC, however, said the Independent National Electoral Commission is collaborating with security agencies, including the police, civil defense, and the EFCC to curb the practice. He urged eligible voters to come out en masse and exercise their civic responsibility.
Trading at polling units, often recurring in covert location, usually near the voting areas. They always hide somewhere, you know. They will also call it Sebe. Diboko Sebe. Mitigation measures were put in place. Deployment of security personnel strategically positioned around polling units, not just within them, around polling units. We are in collaboration with EFCC and ICPC to monitor and deter financial indictments, political third degree and intimidation. Risk: isolated cases of youth mobilization for intimidation, especially in politically active area, local governments, such as Ado, Ikole, Oye, Ikere. We have known them. And what we have been doing is we are going to deploy security personnel, including rapid response team, identify flashpoints, and pre-deployment of security agents, security arrangements. INEC is in collaboration with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, which we know as ICES. Adequate security measures have been put in place to ensure a peaceful electoral process. We call on all political actors and supporters to conduct themselves peacefully during the electoral process. INEC assures the people of Ekiti State and Nigeria at large that we are fully prepared to conduct a credible, transparent, and inclusive election.
The Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture has announced the second edition of the Eco Schools Arts and Crafts competition aimed at discovering and nurturing young creative talents across the state. Speaking at a press conference in Alausa, Ikeja, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Bukpo Oyekan Ismaila, said the initiative is part of efforts to position Lagos as a leading hub for arts, culture, and creative enterprise in Africa. She linked the initiative to the THEMES Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, particularly its focus on entertainment and tourism as drivers of economic growth and youth empowerment. The permanent secretary disclosed that this year's competition themed This is Lagos will feature expanded participation, structured mentorship, increased industry collaboration, and wider exposure for participants. Oyinkan Ismaila called on school administrators, parents, and guardians to encourage students to participate.
Registration is now open at, we'll amplify this more, at http://www.ecoschoolsartsandcrafts.com. As we launch the second edition, we anticipate a bigger, more inclusive and more impactful competition that will produce creative stars who make Lagos proud on the global stage. Together, let us build a Lagos that is not only the center of excellence, but the heartbeat of creativity in Africa. Let your heart tell the story of Lagos, your story, and a continuous avenue of limitless opportunities that abound in Lagos State. The Lagos State government remains committed to investing in creative talent. When creativity thrives, innovation flourishes.
The first batch of Muslim pilgrims from Ogun State have safely arrived in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the 2026 Hajj exercise, marking a historic milestone for the state's aviation and pilgrimage operations. The pilgrims touched down at King Abdulaziz International Airport at about 4:15 a.m. Nigerian time, following their departure from Gateway International Airport at 11 p.m. on Sunday. The contingent comprised 345 pilgrims, 151 males and 194 females, alongside officials of the Ogun State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board. The departure of the pilgrims from Gateway International Airport marked both the commencement of the 2026 Hajj operations and the airport's first international flight. Speaking ahead of the inaugural flight, Governor Dapo Abiodun described the journey as the first 4,600-kilometer non-stop international flight from Ikberu, noting that it reflects the administration's commitment to infrastructure and economic expansion.
Gateway International Airport stands today as a world-class airport, a major achievement of purposeful governance, built with clarity of vision. It is fully equipped with world-class aviation equipment, facilities, and infrastructure. You are the heart of today's event. You have been granted the privilege to be the first to undertake one of the most sacred obligations in Islam comfortably and stress-free from your airport. Congratulations.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC Limited, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with two Chinese companies for collaboration through a potential technical equity partnership TEP in support of the completion and operation of the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries. The MOU was signed by the NNPCL's Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Julari, Chairman, Zhangjiang Chemical Company, Guangxianggong, and the Chairman of Jianghanqing Industrial Park Corporation and Management Co. Limited, BOB, in Jiangyin City, China, on Thursday, April 30, 2026. The potential framework would cover completion of outstanding work at the two refineries together with operating and maintaining both facilities to achieve best-in-class sustainable performance. Planned expansion and upgrades would elevate both facilities to cleaner, more profitable product standards, according to a statement by the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC Limited, Andy Ode, on Monday. Now to the foreign scene, 3 people have died and a UK national is seriously ill in hospital after a suspected hantavirus outbreak on a small cruise ship in the Atlantic Ocean. The operator, of the MV Hondias ship to accompany ocean-wide expeditions said a Dutch husband and wife, as well as a German national, had died, but the cause has not yet been established. However, the Dutch company said hantavirus has been confirmed in the case of the 69-year-old UK national, who is in intensive care in Johannesburg, South Africa. Hantavirus is usually passed to humans from rodents via their feces, saliva, or urine. It can cause severe respiratory illness. Rarely, it can be transmitted between people. The MV Hondias vessel is currently off the coast of Cape Verde and has 149 people on board. Still on the foreign scene, Iran's military warned on Monday that U.S. forces would be attacked if they entered the Strait of Hormuz after President Donald Trump said the United States would begin escorting ships through the waterway. Negotiations between the two countries have been deadlocked since a ceasefire in the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran took effect on April 8, with Tehran's stronghold on the Strait of Hormuz a main point of contention. Trump said on Sunday that the new maritime operation, which he dubbed Project Freedom, was a humanitarian gesture for crews aboard the many ships swept up in the blockade, who may be running low on food and other supplies. In response, the Iranian Military Central Command said any safe passage through Hormuz must be coordinated with its forces under all circumstances. We'd have to go on a break now on Primetime News. Still to come, sports stories. Stay with us.
Well, I have a feeling things are about to change.
The new season of the hit series Wura is coming to Africa Magic.
You didn't say.
Here's everything you need to know about the woman behind the name to get ready.
This is well.
Wura is the ruthless CEO of Frontline Gold Mine.
We're going to build our paradise here on earth.
She'll do anything to maintain her power and perfect image. Lies, fraud, and of course, murder.
Let the dead stay hidden.
Many try to take her down, but she always claws her way back to the top.
I have a plan.
That is, until she discovers that the last person she murdered is her own abandoned daughter. The once unbreakable Wura begins to fall apart, and her empire of gold crumbles around her. But she would rather die than have the world discover who she truly is. Catch Wura Season 4 on Africa Magic Showcase and available to all on Africa Magic Family.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Primetime News on MITV Plus. Now to sports stories. Nottingham Forest took a huge step towards Premier League survival with a 3-1 win at Chelsea on Monday that dealt a major blow to the Blues' hopes of qualifying for the Champions League. Taiwo Awoniyi marked his 100th Forest appearance with the early opener at Stamford Bridge, and Igor Jesus' penalty doubled the advantage soon afterwards. Cole Palmer compounded Chelsea's misery when he missed a penalty late in the first half. Awoniyi struck again after the interval, and João Pedro's eye-catching bicycle kick in the closing stages was no consolation for lackluster Chelsea. Languishing in ninth place, Chelsea's wretched run has left them on the verge of failing to reach next season's Champions League. And now to the Seagulls, as Brighton have agreed a new long-term contract with head coach Fabian Hutzler. The 33-year-old German still has 12 months to run on his current deal at the Amex Stadium, but to sign terms to extend his stay on the South Coast. Hutzler arrived at Brighton at the start of last season, following a successful spell at St. Pauli. The Seagulls are 8th in the Premier League on 50 points, with 3 matches remaining as they seek European football for only the second time in the club's history. Brighton appointed Hutzler at the age of 31 in June 2024, making him the youngest ever full-time boss of a Premier League team. And that brings us to the end of our primetime news tonight. Please follow us on all social media platforms. It's at MITV Plus on Facebook, at MITV Plus_NG on Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can also watch our programs live on YouTube at MITV Plus_NG. Please remember to click the like and subscribe button. I am Precious Eboigbe. Have a good evening.